So if you're anything like me, you're seeing a lot of these big wigs like Gary Vee, Dan Martell. They're all saying that if you are a founder and you have a business, especially a service business, you will be obsolete and no one will know who you are in 2 years because everyone and their mom can use social media using AI now. So if you are not using social media in a real, authentic way, start now or you're going to lose out big.
Welcome to the Premium Mindset, the weekly podcast where homegrown entrepreneurs and business owners, Evan Ritchie and Cameron Bodden, share the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern entrepreneurship and reveal what really happens behind the scenes of their personal and professional lives. As owners of two of America's fastest growing and most disruptive companies, Coconut Cleaning and Green Mango Pest Control, stay tuned for real stories, struggles, insight, and advice from real entrepreneurs in real time.
I was consuming some content the other day and we're in this room, right? And it took a month and a half to build. And the reason why this room is important to me, at least what it signifies, is that for the last 6-7 months, Gary Vee's been hitting big that live selling is going to be the future of social media. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have a product to sell. And, I like cologne. And I always see people on TikTok saying, hey, I like this cologne. Click this link right here. And some are even really transparent. Like, hey, if you trust me in my recommendations, click this link specifically so I can get paid a little bit. And I promise you'll enjoy the clone, right? I'm consuming it. And the light bulb goes off. And I'm like, man, we've worked so hard on our social media to the point where Coconut Cleaning has 45,000 plus followers. And what I'm so proud to say is not one has been bought. And our engagement reflects that, right? We have videos in the last 6 months. We have, I think, 10, 15 videos that have millions of views. So why am I sharing all this? Is that if you are a founder that is in over your head, or maybe you're a year, 2, 3, 5 years into your business, but you're still just turning the wheels and you're not making a proactive plan to post and engage with the people who've already chosen to follow you, you're going to be missing out. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our experience at Coconut, because Cameron and I have a little bit different experience and he's going to, share his. However, 8.5 years ago, we started Coconut Cleaning together and he was 7 years into having Green Mango. And the big initial push outside of me door knocking and commercial flyering and all that was that we were going to put these packets or these inserts inside of the Green Mango packets, right? I naively was like, Cameron's successful. He has all these customers. I literally just waited by the phone on the first day of the inserts being in the packets. And I'm like, when are all these going to come in, right? And nothing happened. So I know I didn't literally just sit there. So what did I do? I started going out, started doing the grassroots thing. And I remember coming to you. I'm like, dude, this isn't working. You're like, who said it's going to work this fast? It'll probably take a year for our customers to actually see that at scale and then act on it. So about 3 months in, you did probably the beginning of what happened multiple times for the next few years, which is you got to do something or this business won't be alive in a year. So I called my sister who has 1 million plus followers and I just said, hey, can I come clean your house in exchange for you sharing on social media the experience? And she did her sister thing and was like, do you know how much people pay me to I'm like,
stop.
But that's why I say the sister thing, I don't think she inhaled it too much, but I went out there, she agreed. She pulls out the cameras we're using. She pulls out a nice camera, pops in a room, takes a picture of me as I'm cleaning. I'm like, okay, cool. And she keeps pointing and I'm cleaning, whatever. Okay, so I leave the next day. I'm like, hey, where's my post and story and stuff? She's like, that's not how this works. So nothing for 3 weeks. And then one day I'm in there cleaning a house that I knocked a door. I'm cleaning a room of carpet for free. And the phone just starts buzzing. And I'm like, oh crap, I leave. During that call, the phone's buzzing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And the first person's like, oh, I saw you on Lil Luna. I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is. So I went on social media on Facebook. She posted about it, made a little story. She didn't even say anything about me being her brother. So I appreciate that.
Which might have helped.
Well, so I go back to you guys and I'm like, hey, I'm booked for the next 2 weeks. And what you guys ended up doing was we found hundreds of influencers in the valley with all the companies that you had, and you, for different reasons, windshield, security, Green Mango, coconut, we just started saying, hey, we have a clean brand, and this is something that's so important. We had a clean brand, and Green Mango was tried and true in the valley, to where the influencer marketing that wasn't a new concept but new for us, it really started to take coconut to the next level. And so when we were talking before this and they were like, how important is social media to you? I'm like, it's everything for coconut. Because what took us initially from, doing $10,000 a month to $60,000 to $80,000 a month within 3 months was making a big organic and influencer marketing campaign. And the highlight that I wanted to make to everyone is that if you have a brand that you don't spend time in making sure that people are happy to be associated with, don't just run and talk to influencers. It's not going to work. But you have to have something where people are happy to share that, oh, I had this person come out and clean my windows, detail my car, whatever it is. That is crucial. But this is just a backdrop to how crucial it was for coconut to have social media and to have consistent posting. And then I think you did you guys start the giveaways around that time as well? Because that's when you guys started popping off on social.
Yeah. With
the Louis Vuitton giveaways, the Diamondback swag, all that stuff.
Yeah, we do 12 days of Christmas and basically just, again, understanding our consumer and saying, hey, this day we're going to do this giveaway, follow, whatever, and you can get entered, or buy a service today and you can get entered, right? Yep. So that social media is crazy. When we were prepping for this, they're like, hey, was social media as important for you starting Green Mango? And the answer is no. Yep. But that's just because we started in 2010. And I think Instagram came out in 2010 and it didn't take action until probably 2014, 15, right? So when I think about a brand, and I'm glad you hit on this, because when you're creating your brand, I'm not the gimmicky guy that loves the annoying cartoon figure, right? Because and maybe I need to open up my eyes on this, but I'm not going to wear it. And maybe I just think because I'm not going to wear it, other people aren't going to wear it. And that's probably a bad way, because people wear SpongeBob and I would never wear SpongeBob, No, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're loving what we're talking about, but you're still confused of where to go and how to accomplish it, that's exactly why we started the 1% Club. We go through playbooks that teach you exactly how to do it and when to do it. And so I want you to click the link below that talks about the 1% Club and want you to join with us. But, I'm wearing my Bucked Up shirt today, and I had a really cool experience with Bucked Up. So I met those guys probably over a year ago on my vacation. We went and we toured the Bucked Up facility. And what was really crazy is when I went and met Dan, and I got there a little bit early and I was waiting on him, and I was sitting in their merch store. And while I was sitting there, it felt like a clothing brand. I was at, Aviator Nation or whatever. People just kept coming in, buying stuff, coming in. And they had workout clothes. And I was asking, there was 4 girls there at the time. In 5 minutes, I was like, are there workout clothes that great? This is a supplement brand. What are you guys doing here? You drove here, in the middle of a snowstorm to get workout clothes from Bucked Up. What's going on? And it wasn't like that. They were cheap, $70, $80 leggings, you know? And when Dan got there, I don't want to say the number, but it was over 6 figures. They do 6 figures a month in their merch, because they have cool, simple brand that people I'm wearing it today because it's comfy, because it's nice, because all the things. And when I think about brand, when I think about social media, it's, hey, what do people want to consume? What do people want to wear? I think that's what you have to get behind. And so when you think about social media with either your personal brand or with your company, it's just understanding your consumer and what do they love. In the workout space or in the supplement space, it's a lot of people who work out, and I'm sure that's how they drew the correlation that, hey, in the early ages they would give a shaker bottle with a pre-workout packet inside the shaker bottle, and then give them a free shirt. And people started asking hey, I want to wear your shirts at the gym, can I just buy the shirt? And they were giving it away for free at the time. and they're like, dude, I just want to buy this shirt. And so they started selling them for 20, 30, 40 bucks.
wild.
And now they're like, whoa, people want this because like they want to wear bucked up at the gym because that's what they drink. They want to sport it, right? And so understanding your consumer is extremely important, but also giving them gear to wear. And this is where Dusty did a great job at Green Mango. Like, who would want to wear a pest control brand stuff? But people would come into our uniform store that we had for our employees, and they would raid our store with the jackets, we'd almost have to tell people like, whoa, like grab a couple things because, like this is for our employees to wear for their uniforms, And so I thought that was really cool. But there's one thing that stands out to me about social media. And when we started the podcast, I knew that we would win in the podcast world because there's one thing that you have to do in order to be successful. Do you know what it is?
Be consistent.
Be consistent. And how sad is that? Like, in order to be successful on social media or with a podcast, you just have to be consistent. And we're some of the most consistent people I know. And so I was like, dude, we'll win because we know how to be consistent. And social media is that. I think you have to be less worried about, and this is where you and I could probably do a better job at, is like kind of getting mixed up on like, hey, is it good enough? Did I say the right thing? Was I standing the right way? And but it's like, dude, just get out there and be consistent and provide value. And I think that's what people want. I think that's like the little that I do know about social media is that if you stay consistent, you let people you're following know, whether it's 3,000, 5,000, 100,000 followers, like if you're staying consistent on what's important to you, like people will understand that's who you are and that's what you live by. And there's a lot of power that I've seen just as I've doubled down on my personal brand the past couple of years. When people come up to me at the dunes or randomly, throughout, when we're at restaurants or at the airport or whatever it might be, I love when people are coming up, like, I love that you're a family man. I love that you're still involved in this. I love that you're doing that. And it's refreshing to me because like we have our content pillars of the things that we want to post about, that we want people to know me as, and as they're coming up to me, like they're saying one of those four things or two or more of those, 2, 3 sometimes of those four things of who we are.
So if you're enjoying this podcast, I just had an experience with franchisees because Cameron and I are still building a national company, and I was able to illustrate to them how important it is to stay on top of their leads, that before they pass it off to a family member, that they need to have the SOPs that we already have. So it's clear, the stats are out there. Franchising is an accelerator for you to not only start a business, but to be able to grow at a pace that just starting a regular company, you just can't do. So if you're interested in franchising with us at Coconut Cleaning and you want to jump into a system that's ready to go, click the link below and we'd love to talk to you soon. Yeah. And I think that consistent principle that you bring up, in to anyone listening that isn't inherently prone to hop on the camera, that's why consistency is so important, and volume negates luck. So you're going to find out really quick, within a couple months, you're going to see what people respond well to. And so if you own a pest control business, if you own a power wash business, just sharing real, authentic content, whether it's selfie videos of you saying, hey, I'm going to 4 power wash customers' houses today, join me as I clean their driveways, whatever. It works. In 2024, in top 10 most watched viral videos of topics was area rug cleaning. Area rug cleaning. So what is that? What am I saying? What does that mean then? Some guy who cleans area rugs 5, 10 years ago just started posting the process of him cleaning an area rug, and people are like, I love watching this. And now in 2024, it was the top 10 in terms of topics that were most consumed by people was just someone clicking on a YouTube video and watching some dude clean an area rug. So if you have a business that allows you to show a contrast of something, do that. You can do giveaways. You could do everything that you're doing in your business, you can do on social media. And in a world of AI and where everything is like, that's just fake. And I believe I was told it's called AI slop, where it's like the second you see something so outrageous and dumb, you're just like moving on. that's what people who don't know what they're doing, they're going to try and do that. And so you can quickly stand out in your market if you just simply say, hey, this is me, this is who I'm doing. In fact, you ran into somebody that is a competition to Coconut, but I was telling the marketing team about a month ago, I said, hey, I want you to watch this guy's content, these 2 videos, because he doesn't correct his posture. And if he trips and falls while recording, it's in there. And maybe it's just like, hey, I don't have, any time for editing, but you ran into somebody who were like, hey, he's got this success from just posting consistently and being organic and raw. So just be you, get out there, be on social media. But I promise you, if you're not doing it, you're going to get quickly washed away in a world where everyone goes to their phone for attention. The last thing, if I just wanted to say that, like, at Coconut, I want you guys to watch what we're doing, because I promise you in the next year, we're going to take over the cleaning industry. For us, it's super important, right? But I see all these grandfather companies that have 50, 100, 500, 3,000 locations for carpet cleaning, and they have 800 followers on their main corporate page. So I look forward to doing the very simple, raw, real stuff on social media at scale to show the power and importance of what it does in terms of ROI and growing the business.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up too that the more you do something, the more comfortable you become at it.
Yeah.
And, I think about our first podcast.
I just thought of that.
We've done it first. We recorded 7 months worth of content. Yeah. Did we record once a week back then, or was it every other week? It was once a week for 7 months. We didn't release anything. And that's where I think I look back at, like, we cared too much. And I'm not saying we're perfect when we get on, and the cameras go on, but, like, think about even, has it been 2 years now?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago versus now, how comfortable we are. Yeah. And then you think about, like, I laugh because I told you, like, we used to get up in front of 150, 200 employees at Green Mango and give a training. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. But when you get up in front of 200 people that aren't employees and give a training, it's different.
No, I don't know.
I don't know why, right? But it's just different. So it's just getting in that setting and doing it. And that's what social media is, in my opinion, of saying, hey, look, I know this is important, but you just need to get up and do it.
I like that. Is that what you were doing there? I thought you were just saying, like, maybe in front of, Brandon Dawson, or up on these stages or whatever, where you've literally been in front of 200 strangers. But I like what you just did, making the contrast of, like, actually being in front of 200 strangers is what social media is. Oh. And there's that fear.
No, I didn't. But cool. I was just saying, like, it's so, like, uncomfortable as it is to get up and, like, you would think, like, oh, I'm comfortable getting up in front of 200. There's just different scenarios. Yep. And so you might be comfortable with, starting to share, like, your business, but you're not going to turn that camera around and do a selfie.
Right.
Well, how do you get more comfortable this year? Well, maybe do it twice a week for the next year, and just see where you're at in a year from now.
Yep. I love it. If you're not on social, get on social media, start posting. Here's what I'd say too, if you're wondering if you need to be the face of your brand, you don't. In fact, if you ever have intentions of selling your company, you're going to lose some enterprise value, because the company that's purchasing you is going to say, hey, if your face is no longer here, we're going to take an impact. So instead of your enterprise value being this, we're going to take a little bit off. However, there is this idea in what I've studied and what I understand now is that you have your own personal brand as a founder, as an owner, and you have your business account as well. And so you can share what you yourself are doing as the founder and owner. However, you can hire a videographer or photographer to come in and do content of your technicians. Hey, can you follow my technician at this house or at this job? Or you can show up and wear that hat for a little bit, and you show up at a job of your technicians and record a video of him. Like, it does not have to be you. But if there is some play for you to help people see the building of your story, I'm not talking about being the face of your brand and going to every photo shoot and doing that. I'm talking about you as the founder, owner, just simply sharing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm building. And then you have your actual business page where you're sharing, a photo of the service that you provide with copy, promotion, call to action. But then you also just share videos of customer testimonials. There's a lot of ideas. And the reason I only want to list them is that you can just go on ChatGPT and say, I'm an owner, I suck at social media. Give me a social media game plan for the next 90 days that doesn't include me. It does include me a little bit, but it also includes my story, what we're doing, and what we do at our business, and how we can get people into our business for growth.
If you can choose, I would say don't put your face on the brand. At Green Mango, we chose to put me on there because we couldn't afford a model, and then we wanted to stay consistent. And so I was the guy forever. Luckily, when we went to sell, it didn't hurt the enterprise value, but I had to sign away that they could use my likeness, I think for either 2 or 3 years. Wow. And I don't love that because now my face is on their decisions of what they're making, whether good or bad, right? When I saw that, like, for whatever reason, maybe Coconut was like, you started to kind of insert your, not, that sounds bad, but like you were showing up more on photo shoots. I was like, dude, you don't want to go down this hole. You don't want to be that guy because it's draining. Yeah. The last thing you need to be doing as an entrepreneur is like being the face. Of course, if you can't afford someone, go do it. But we have so many great guys around here that you could be moving the needle in different areas rather than being the face on social media.